CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous delivery or deployment. Okay, continuous integration or CD. CD has two meanings here. The original meaning was continuous delivery, and we also use this CD for continuous deployment. Okay, so whenever we say CI/CD, it is continuous integration and continuous delivery along with the deployment. Okay, one of the most important concept what we have in DevOps is CI/CD, right? So we use these concepts of CI/CD to build pipelines. Why we need a pipeline? To automate the process. So when we talk about automation, this CI/CD comes into picture, right? Everything is automated. Software development, during software development, and even during software deployment, monitoring, all the phases of software development, right? We are automating them, and that automation is possible with the help of these CI/CD concepts. Okay, so let's understand about this CI/CD, right? So CI/CD stands for continuous integration and continuous delivery or deployment. It is both delivery or deployment. Initially it was only delivery, but later continuous deployment also became part of the CI/CD, right? It's a practice that automates the process of building, testing and releasing the software. Once a software requirement is given to you, right, after that you will start writing the code. From that point to testing this code and to deploying this code, right, till the deployment of the code, we do it everything automatedly, and that automation is possible with the help of the CI/CD concepts, right? So it forms the backbone of modern DevOps by connecting development and operations to deliver applications faster and more reliably, right? So when we say DevOps, we are actually connecting development and operations together. So CI/CD plays a major role in the DevOps, right? What all things it can automate? Code integration, testing and deployment workflows. Okay, and the CI/CD reduces manual effort while improving software quality. Okay, so we will see some example to understand where is the manual effort required, and then we will try to go and see about the CI/CD thing, right? It enables faster, more consistent and reliable releases. Production, basically release means production release. You build a new feature, you are releasing it to the public, you are making it available to everyone in the world, right? You are making it live. So that's what we called as release, right? So before CI/CD, right, let's understand if CI/CD was not there, what was the case, how we were working before the CI/CD, right? So in this, what we used to do here, see, in the past software delivery was slow and full of manual work. It was slow and full of manual work. What kind of manual work? Developer used to create separate feature branches and work on them for weeks or even months, right? I think now you understand. There is a main line in the in Git we have a main line. This is my current, this is my master. If I want to make some changes as a developer, if I want to add a new feature, we used to create a feature branch. Right, and we used to work on this feature branch. We used to add so much of work we used to do in this feature branch for so many months or weeks, right? But we are not focusing on bringing it back to this. See, because I have been given a very big requirement, I am working on that for so many days because I am unable to complete that task. I am still working on that. By the time I complete this task, so many new versions have come in the main line. So many new versions or new nodes have come in the main line, right? So that has become a challenge. Right? So teams were also divided. Developers used to write the code, tester test it, operation manage the servers. we used to have separate teams for everything. And the biggest issue with before DevOps or before Agile methodology, right, is about the communication between these people. Because somebody is doing the development, that's it, his task is done. He is not worried about any other task of that. Somebody is doing testing and somebody else is taking care of the operations part, right? So their teams are separated, they are at different locations, they don't have any communication. It was the biggest challenge in the traditional software development approach, right? See, we write code, we used to write code in separate branches, okay. Then manual build, there was no automatic build, we used to manually using command, I used to build it. And then manual testing and manual deployment, everything was manual. See, once I write, let's take the example of PL/SQL procedure. In this procedure I made some change, then I have, but PL/SQL we don't deploy it basically, but let's say I wrote one Java program, right? You have to manually build the jar file of it, then you have to test that thing, and then you have to deploy it. Everything was done manually. Deployment was supposed to be done by us. How do you do manual deployment? Means you create that .jar file, .archive file, right, Java archive, and you used to load, we used to upload in the server, and we will do all the settings. While uploading, we have to do all the settings and then deploy it, okay. So this is lot of manual stuff is involved in this, right? So to overcome that, after CD what has changed, right? So after continuous integration and continuous delivery deployment with CI/CD, the whole process became faster, automated and more reliable, right? Developers can now commit their code frequently to a shared main branch, which prevents conflicts and ensures smooth integration, okay. So with Git and GitHub, no, committing our code is very easy without any conflict, right? So you write the code, automated build, approved artifact and deployed to production. Everything is automatic, and even we can do frequent release. See, deploying used to take time. We used to fix some time, you know. Traditional days, production deployment used to be done in the morning, early morning, 4 to 6 a.m. they used to do. It's a practice followed by industry because that is the time where the applications are not used much. So software employees, developers used to go to the companies early in the morning and do the deployment from 4 a.m. This was the practice followed earlier. Even when I worked, I have done that. Early morning we used to go and deploy the code. 5 a.m., 6 a.m. we used to do that, right? So that is not there now. You can release it any time of the day, whenever you want, because it is taking very less time to deploy it. Within seconds you are able to deploy it with the continuous integration and continuous delivery deployment. And even safer deployments, you will not make any mistake in the deployment. Manually, what used to happen, if you are deploying manually, sometimes you might overwrite some other code. See, there were some files like this. Let me give some example. There was one file, archive file, it was named as MNP underscore, let's say cust underscore main. This was one archive file, okay. There was same thing, another one was there, MNP customer cust and main2.tar. When I am deploying, I made changes in this. File. I want to deploy this change. But while doing manual deployment, I uploaded the latest version. I replaced this completely. I bought the new one here, where both are required. Both seem to be same for me. When I see the names, both are looking same. Just this 2 is missing here and there. But when I searched, it showed me this. I quickly replaced and deployed it because we are given less time to deploy. So this mistake, human error can happen while deploying the applications, right? So that is also that cannot happen after CI/CD has come, because you are not doing anything. You are just automating using some software tools, and we get the immediate feedback. If something goes wrong, you know it within seconds, because you are doing it automatically and we have set up everything properly. right? So after CI/CD, it has become all no, what we say, automation has become faster, deployment has become faster. Okay, let's say example, a student writes code. He maybe, let's say, he has added login page to the website. Okay, student adds a login page to a website which did not have this. So he has added a new feature. He has added a new feature, right? Then he pushed the code to GitHub. Okay, then this code, the added feature, was pushed to the GitHub, the remote repository. Okay, from there I can use some CI/CD tools. I can use some CI/CD tools like Jenkins or GitHub Actions. Okay, I may, because see, understand this, I add a student, anyone, let's say I added a new feature login page to an existing website. That changed that login page module I have pushed into the GitHub. From GitHub I can connect either Jenkins or GitHub Actions, any one of the CI/CD tools. Okay, what they will do, they will compile this code. These tools, there are many such tools. This tool helps us in compiling the code automatically, run the test, check for the errors. Okay, they will run the code and they will check for any errors in the program which you have uploaded, right? If there is some problem in the login page, it will throw error. If not, it will approve it. It will say yes, everything is right in this. So the automated build will pass. Automated build means you are ready to deploy this login page into the production. So we will be using any of these CI/CD tools which will automatically check. It will compile the code, check whether there is any error in that application and give you the error if there is something. Otherwise, it will say yes, everything is done, right? Then the approved artifact, meaning that a ready to use package is created. Okay, a ready to use package is created. Let's say, for example, like in Java I said no, we will have jar files, .jar files. Let's say my program name is 1, so 1.jar file will be created. So this login page which I have created is based on Java, let's say. Then a automatically deployable entity will be created, or like something like this, right? What we say, .jar, .var, no, .var, .var, .tar, like this. Lot of different, every software has different archives. Okay, so this will be automatically built. For example, if you are using container, we are going to study about containers. If you use container, no, Docker image will be created. Approved artifact means something which is ready to be deployed now. The application code is bundled into a jar file and it is ready to be deployed. That will be generated automatically. Right? Now the system deployed to production, the system will move this jar file to the production server, maybe into the cloud if you are deploying, or maybe to some local server, or maybe some public domain server you are deploying it, you can deploy it. Right? So this is about the CI/CD. After CI/CD, this is the process happening. Okay, we are not doing anything. What I am doing here, I am just writing the code. After that, I am clicking some buttons and commands and I am pushing it to the GitHub. From there, automatically I will be using a tool Jenkins or GitHub Actions. Okay, these tools will automatically link. We will see how this is connected actually. Okay, from using, let's say I am using Jenkins. Using Jenkins, I will create a build. I will create a build. So that build will be automatically created, tested, everything will be done. Then the next step, it will create an artifact, .tar, .gr, it will build it. Then if by just clicking a button, it will deploy me wherever I want it to deploy. Maybe in cloud, AWS, Azure, or in some server, I can do it automatically. Right? So this is about the after CI/CD has come, these things became very easy. Right? So next, more details understanding of CI/CD. Right? So we know continuous integration and continuous delivery D is the process of automating the software release cycle. In some cases D can also mean deployment, but initially it was delivery, later they have mentioned it as both. It represents both delivery and deployment. Okay, what is the difference between delivery and deployment? Well, because I am saying always CI and CD, CD has two meanings. So when do I mention delivery, or what is the difference between delivery and deployment? Let us understand that, right? So in continuous deployment occurs when you release a change to the production environment. Okay, when you release a change to the production environment, then only we observe the difference between these two. With delivery, a manual approval is required before promoting changes to production. In continuous delivery, a manual approval is required. You need to click the button, yes, please upload. Whereas in continuous deployment feature, an uninterrupted flow through the entirety of the pipeline and no approvals are required, right? See, continuous delivery means it requires approval, whereas continuous deployment, it does not require approval. Automatically the deployment process happens. Just you click one button only, it will not ask you so many times to click yes, 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 or proceed, proceed. It will not say such things. You will be automatically moving the code, right? So this is the difference between CI and CD, right? So now what are those three phases, right? In general software development process, where does CI falls and where does CD or delivery or deployment falls? Okay, so if you see, continuous integration is there only till building. Okay, when till I write the code only we have continuous integration, right? The code repository, feature branches, integration. What you are integrating actually, multiple feature branches, you are integrating it to the main branch automatically. That is your CI. So we are not talking about any building, testing or production. Continuous integration CI represents, we have studied in Git, right? I will have the main branch, I can have multiple feature branches like this, somebody else is working here, somebody is working here, right? So we can merge all those in the main line. So merging these feature branches, together into the main branch, this part comes under continuous integration, right? See, feature branches are committed to the main branch of the code repository. That is continuous. Whereas in continuous delivery or deployment, these phases come: build, test, staging and production. Okay, so what's happening here in build? See, when we are talking about the build, right, the system takes the code and builds an application. It means converts the code into runnable format. Building means converting the code into runnable format. That is build means. Because let's say code is in, this is Java code, readable format, that I have to convert into runnable format, means ready to be deployed. When I want to deploy it, right, then I can this build phase is for converting it into runnable format. Okay, this is about build, right? Resources are provisioned in a development environment. Then comes the test. That is, test also is development environment only. What we do? We do testing. Multiple tests are performed like unit testing, integration, acceptance, performance testing. All that we do here in the testing phase, right? It means basically how does that login works, whether it is working properly or not, right? All that testing will be done here. Then comes the staging, that is pre-production environment. Staging means pre-production. Before actually moving it to the live, we do kind of a testing here also, right? So resources are provisioned in a pre-production environment and final unit and integration tests are performed in the staging. Okay, and finally the production one, right? So production website is released, that whatever changes we have done, it is released to the public, to the users. Okay, so CI falls in this stage. Only when talking about code part we talk about CI, whereas continuous delivery or in continuous deployment, all these things are involved in that, right? So CI/CD does not represents one stage or one module of that. It has different stages, right? I hope you understand. So we will understand in detail about continuous integration, also about delivery and deployment. In integration we only talk about merging different code branches, different feature branches to the main branch. How we do it? Automatically. Whereas in delivery or deployment, we build the code, means converting that runnable from the readable format code to runnable format, a format which is readily available for deployment, a format which is readily available for deployment, right? Then I will be testing it, and then we will be moving it to the staging, pre-production, and then to the actual production. This full will be automated, right, using CI/CD. So let's understand these three things in detail, what happens in each of these phases, right? So first one is continuous integration. Okay, the goal, prevent integration hell. We know that if there is a main branch, right, if some developer is working here, some is working here, some is working here, somebody is working here, we have lot of sub feature branches and we have to integrate them to the main branch. It's a headache, it's a hectic task, because how do you merge them? If you are merging it somewhere else, somebody else code is missing. This is a very challenging task of merging, right? So continuous integration, the goal is to prevent integration hell. I should not have any integration challenges. The process, developer merge their changes back to the main branch as often as possible. You can do it as many times as possible. I think this you understood. We can do this using Git and GitHub, which is also part of our CI/CD. Merging the feature branches to the main branch can be done without any conflicts, right? The automation part here, upon every commit, the automated system builds the code and runs unit test. If some test fail, the build is rejected and developer is notified immediately. In the CI part, when I am, see, I had one main branch like this. This was my master, and this is my sub branch which I was working on. When I bring it and try to merge it here, right, during this phase, if there is some, when I am doing the merge process, if there is some issue in my code, it will automatically throw an error. It will not allow me to merge the code to the main branch or the master branch. That is CI. Next, CD, continuous delivery, right? So the goal, be ready to release at any moment. Okay, you should be ready to release the code to the production environment at any moment. That is our the continuous delivery process. What happens after the CI passes, after the continuous integration has passed, the code is automatically deployed in staging or testing environment. Some local environment, some local server, we are deploying it. Okay, and extensive integration and load tests are run as if it happens in real time. Okay, so basically we are doing testing of that code which I made the changes. We are testing it in some local environment and giving some load and seeing whether everything is working fine or not. The release, the code base is always in a deployable state. After this is done, your code is ready to be deployed, but the push to production is a manual decision. Deploy button click by a manager. Okay, so you have tested it properly using CD, continuous delivery, but to release, to push it to the production, it requires manual intervention. Somebody has to click yes, okay, please proceed. Okay, this is continuous delivery. Deployment, the goal, eliminate human intervention. You need not, it is same as continuous delivery, right? But if all the automated tests pass in staging, the code is automatically deployed to the production. Okay, we don't do any manual task here, right? So this is the summary of CI/CD. Okay, so I think you got little idea what CI/CD is talking about. right? We are talking about automating the task in software development. Once I write the code, later on all the phases are automated without our involvement, right? And we are not checking it anything. Automatically it will do the testing, it will tell if there is some error in that. It is done automatically, right? That is the beauty of this. Otherwise we have to manually build it, manually do the testing and manually do the deployment. That is not required now. With the help of CI/CD concepts and CI/CD tools, we can do everything automatedly, and developers need not wake up early in the morning to deploy the code. You can do it at any point of time because deployment is taking very less time, right? So this is the whole story about the basic understanding of CI/CD.